Hi everyone, good day. Welcome to our Masterclass session. I'm Santosh Maivan, Customer Success Manager for Middle East and Europe. I hope you're all doing good and everything is well. I understand we are right now at the pandemic situation and things around the world is changing. So it's just like we're all waiting for things to change so we can get back to our lives or live the new normal is what we are looking at right now. So hope we're all staying safe. And today I would be talking about ServiceDesk Plus integration with Microsoft services. And before I step in, that's just a cautionary note that I am staying right close by the airport. So you may hear a couple of noises of aircrafts landing and takeoff. So do excuse me on that. So because we're all working from home and I have no other option except for like be with this, deal with this. Alrighty then. You've been using ServiceDesk Plus. So the primary requirement over here is that we've discussed all the modules. We know what modules the product offers, but it's just that how to put the application into an effective use when it comes to utilizing the application to its fullest. So that is where we experienced the remote work challenge during the last lockdown, right? So when we had this work from home situation arising everywhere, we had the challenges on how the business applications or the productivity tools were being used and how they were like dealt in individual silos so long, and how it posed a huge challenge when those applications were being used along with your help to solution, your service desk plus solution, or any IT service delivery solutions that you're using, they were staying independent. It wasn't interacting with the other business applications, or there wasn't any collaboration, or there was no flow between how the services were handled. But the remote work challenge was made a lot more easier and it helped everyone by delivering a great employee experience through frictionless workflows enabled by contextual integrations. So this is the base that we are going to use today because you have these applications, you know these solutions work with each other, but it's just that how are we going to sew them together so that it's going to make the work a lot more easier and it's going to work as a collaborative platform. So in this webinar, we're going to learn how to integrate Service Desk Plus, which is your IT service management solution, with other Microsoft applications to establish a consistent workflow. So with this in place, I'm going to get right into our first integration, which is Service Desk Plus integration with Microsoft Teams. So we have Teams over here and we have Service Desk Plus, and I've logged in as an admin on the other console. A very important tip to every attendee of today's webinar: click on this question mark and go to About. If you are not in anywhere in 11.3 or in the latest, please plan your upgrades accordingly and make sure you upgrade the Service Desk Plus to the latest version. It's just that we have introduced a lot of UI changes, behavior changes, features. We have made a lot of customizations to ease the user experience. So I would strongly recommend you all to upgrade. All right. So now coming back to our Teams integration, if you go to admin, we have a dedicated space just for integration. So this integration talks about the Service Desk Plus integration as well as with Manageengine solutions and other Microsoft solutions out there. So, and in this integrations page, we have Microsoft Teams, and over here, we have the help card that clearly says how to do the integration. What are the customizations we need to do? All right. And we have detailed documentation on how to carry out the integration. So you would be using Azure, all right, and you would be also working with Outlook to perform these configurations, Azure and Teams to perform these integration, and you would be using the data and the URLs from both these solutions right into Service Desk Plus to perform the integration. I'm not going to go much in detail about the integrations because we just wanted to see the features and its functionality. Once you've integrated Teams with Service Desk Plus, all right, the first benefit that you would see is that as a technician, you would be able to get the request list view right into your Teams. This is applicable for the requesters too. All right. So either a requester or as a technician, you will be able to get the ServiceDesk Plus application, sorry, the request list view right into your Microsoft Teams. Over here, you can reply to tickets. All right. You can add notes. So since this is a requester login, all right, since I've logged in as a requester into Teams, I can only see limited operations. I can choose between, I can work between incident and service ticket. I have my filters. All right. So these are options I can. Now, when you log in as a technician, and if your role allows you to edit tickets, work on tickets, and so on, you would be able to do that. All right. So that is the first thing that you could make use of with the Teams integration. All right. So end user or a technician, they can work right from within Teams through the request view. All right. Then we have the chat. So basically, I've integrated the Teams with ServiceDesk Plus, and here is my bot that I have added in Teams. So through this bot, I get chat as well as my request view. And in my chat, all right, I can do a lot of slash commands. So slash chat is one of the slash command that I can use, and this operation is only available for the requester. So since this Teams login is yet to be moved into a request is login, I'm using the slash command called revoke. All right. And I am going in as a requester. So once I do the revoke and I use any other command, it's going to ask me to sign in with Microsoft. And on the same browser, I've logged in as a requester over here. So it automatically authorizes me. If not, if you have not logged in, it's just going to ask me to log in. And once I log in, it's going to authorize me accordingly. So since I'm authorized, since I've logged in, as you could see, I've logged in as Richard Green. I can chat with the technician or I can create a ticket, which means I can literally create a ticket right from within Teams into ServiceDesk Plus. Also, I can initiate a chat. When I do this, all right, right from Teams as an end user, I've initiated a chat. And over here in the technician's login, I've, I'm receiving a chat message from the requester. Now, over here, I can say, hi, how can I help you? So this is a technician, all right? The technician who is OAuth's turn is communicating with Richard Green between ServiceDesk Plus and Teams. And requester says, I need a new laptop. So the technician figures out that, okay, this is a service request. The technician just can go ahead, end the session, create a request using the templates, all right? And the technician can just close and create the request. So the chat session is closed, the ticket is created, or if there are mandatory fields that's supposed to be filled in, I need to fill that out. And not just that, as you could see, the conversation is also being appended. So basically, an end user from Teams is communicating with the service desk technician through chat. The chat happens, and the chat is converted to a ticket in service desk. Also, the end user gets an option to perform operations such as like create a ticket right from within Teams. Not just that, I can also view all my pending approvals. And if I have the approvals listed, I'll be able to approve or reject right from within my Teams. So these are all a couple of these options that we could do. And here are a couple of screen grabs that would also give us an overview on what we have discussed. So basically, as an end user, I could chat, work on help desk tickets right from Microsoft Teams. I can also take advantage of the unified login where I could work between the chat as well as the request view from my Microsoft Teams. Then you can like do prompt updates on tickets. If you're a technician, you can like add notes, edit the ticket, assign the ticket, reassign the ticket to someone else, reply to the ticket. You can perform a lot of these edit operations that we just saw. Then you can initiate a chat session with a technician in ServiceDesk Plus. So this is specifically only for the end users. So you could do a collaborative communication, and still the Teams and ServiceDesk Plus communication can be added as a ticket right into ServiceDesk Plus. All right, and you could also view your pending approvals, and right from within Teams, you can take action on those approvals too. Let's take a look at the prerequisites that is required for this integration. You need to ensure ServiceDesk Plus is hosted on a domain with valid certificates, running on HTTPS protocol, and it is publicly accessible. So this is the base. You can also use the application proxy feature in Azure to host ServiceDesk Plus publicly. Roles that is required. So basically, we're working between ServiceDesk Plus, Teams application, and Azure portal. So for ServiceDesk Plus, since it's an admin configuration, you need to have SD admin role. And for Azure, you need to have Azure Global Administrator or Teams Administrator and Azure Applications Administrator. So you need these roles readily available in order for you to perform the integrations. And we just saw the demonstration of the entire operations that we support. So we use slash commands to perform these operations. And we just saw live work examples of how chat works, how the unified view helps users to work between chat and request list view. So we have discussed about Teams and Service Desk's integration in detail, and we are now moving into the other segment, which is actionable messages for Outlook. Now, we saw how a collaborative or a communication channel like Teams could be a very beneficial bridge between help the solution and a team. So we saw how they could be integrated together and how we could make the collaboration reach to a larger audience. Likewise, all right, we have Outlook. Users use their mailboxes, their mail services, but it's just that IT service desk technicians find it so difficult when they receive emails from different applications into their mailboxes. All right. Now, what Service Desk offers is we offer an integration such that for specific notifications from Service Desk Plus, you can take actions right on your Outlook. So what are they? So basically, you could manage request operations such as adding notes to a ticket right from within your Outlook based on the notification that has been triggered from Service Desk. Also, you can resolve a ticket, you can view its details. All right, so that's something you can do just with button operations from Teams into Service Desk Plus. So from your Outlook into Service Desk Plus. Also, if there is an approval email that has been sent to you, you can take the approval decision just again by click of buttons on your Outlook. And also, you wanted to pick up a ticket because you just saw a notification coming up saying that, hey, Ashton, you have a ticket created for you, and do you want to take a look at it? You could just like go ahead and pick it up. So that's something you can easily do. So these are all kind of features that you could do with the actionable messages in Outlook. Now, what are the prerequisites that's required? So all these applications, if you notice, the prerequisites are kind of like a platform, which is common. So you need to ensure the service desk is hosted on a domain with valid certificates, which runs on HTTPS mode and is publicly accessible. So you could also use the application's proxy feature from Azure to host your Service Desk Plus publicly. The roles and responsibilities required. Again, it's an admin configuration. You need the SD admin role in ServiceDesk Plus to do the integration. For Azure, you need Azure Global Administrator or Exchange Administrator and Azure Applications Administrator. So you need these roles that will help you to do the integration. Now, operations supported, we just saw a quick glance. So here is a recap, and we would see the same into the application in a moment. And we are now into the demo. So with no further delay, let's head right into the application and see how this works. All right, so I'm at my mailbox over here. And these are a couple of notifications that I've been receiving from users right into my mailbox. All right. So if so based on the notifications, just like a note is added or a request is sent for approval, a request is created. So these are kind of notifications that will allow users to make use of these buttons. And again, for this to work, you need to configure or do the integration in admin. All right. Actionable messages for Outlook. The concept is the same. You work with Azure, you work with Outlook, perform the integrations, map the relevant data parameters into the respective locations. All right, and you click on save. So that is exactly how you do the integration. And any information about the integration is readily available in the help card. And you want to try this out and you need assistance as well, you can always let us know and we'll be happy to help you out. So once the integration is done and when the notifications are triggered, I get these emails right into ServiceDesk Plus, right into the Outlook. And from the Outlook, I could just go ahead and say add note, and whatever action or whatever update I'm going to give over here, it's going to be added right into my Service Desk Plus. So it's just that from Outlook, I'm performing operations, which in turn is being updated into my Service Desk Plus application. So if the purchasing team or the dispatch team is busily working on series of emails and based on certain approvals or based on certain tickets, if they wanted to action on them, they can just go ahead and do that right away. And this notification, which is like to resolve the request, so when you get this notification on your email, you can just go ahead, add the resolve status comments, and go ahead and click on save. So you could perform these operations with less effort right into your Outlook. And if there is any approvals, you could just go ahead and approve or reject the ticket. And also, if you wanted to view the ticket details, you can just go right in. All right. So this is again something that you could work on using these integrations. All right. And the other aspect is that we have options to pick up the ticket. So right from within the notification, you could just go ahead and pick up the ticket. So that's one other benefit that you get when you are trying to work with notifications through actionable messages. So with all these different integration options, it's just that Service Desk Plus uh, leverages all these operations through different integrations that we support. And that's what we have discussed so far about the actionable messages. The other one is about Microsoft Calendar. Now, this is something that we have been working for us. Like, oh, this has been a kind of a demanding feature for a long time, where organizations, basically the coordinators or the team managers or the team leads, find it so difficult to manage tickets when they don't have all the technicians' information at one place, and that is basically the technicians' availability. Now, this also becomes a lot more challenging when the technician marks their leaves on different calendars, and that information does not sync between systems, which is the base of operation for the organization. All right. So if the leads are marked in calendar, in Outlook, or in Teams, and if it doesn't sync the other way around, it's kind of challenging. So in this particular topic, we are going to see how Service Desk Plus integrates with the Outlook calendar and what are the benefits that we're going to secure from the same. All right, then. So when you sync Service Desk Plus with Outlook Calendar, you will be able to create leaves on Service Desk Plus or in the Outlook, and the data would be synced vice versa, wherever it's added first. And then you would be able to add, edit, or delete these calendars right from within any of these applications. And also, when you mark yourself leave in Service Desk Plus, it also updates your team's calendar. So if in case there's a meeting or a business discussion that's supposed to happen, you would know who's available and who's on leave based on this particular integration. The prerequisites are almost the same. There's no difference in the prerequisites or the roles and responsibilities that is required. Except for that, the calendar would require Azure Global Administrator or Exchange Administrator and Azure Applications Administrator. So the operation supported is about like you have we would sync the out of office events from Microsoft Calendar into Service Desk Plus Calendar. Add, edit, and delete operations are supported, and it would sync the actions accordingly. So leaves configured in Service Desk Plus will be synced to Teams and Outlook. However, the the schedule that you do in Teams is basically events, and that would not be added into Service Desk Plus. So we are now going to head right into our demo and see how these integrations work. Let's start. I'm planning to take a leave or a vacation. So first thing I do is I choose all day, and over here I choose away, and I say long leave, and I choose my dates accordingly. Once I do that in my Outlook, I click on save. And this information, since I've logged in as Santosh, and in Service Desk Plus, that would be listed as Santa, or Santa would be the login. So let me just go right in. So I'm going right into ServiceDesk Plus. So under home, I head right into my scheduler. All right. And I'm choosing my October and I choose Santa. And as you can see, the leave I just added is reflected over here as long leave. All right. Then I decide, okay, I want another long leave. And I'm just going to say from October 8th until 12th or 11th would be better. So I'm just adding a leave in ServiceDesk Plus again, and that information will be synced right into my Teams Outlook calendar as well. So I'm just going to hit refresh. So this information syncs bidirectionally from both the applications, all right? And also the leaves that I marked. So as you can see here, over here, I've marked my long leave and it's listed over here. And not just that, on your Teams as well, all right, the information is synced right into Teams because it's added in ServiceDesk Plus, and this information goes right into the Teams as well. So whatever I just added is listed over here. So if I wanted to view the October month's data, if I just click on it, as you could see, whatever leaves I've added in ServiceDesk Plus is being reflected right into Teams and Outlook. And whatever events that you mark in Teams would not be added into ServiceDesk Plus, just so we are all clear on that. And if I'm going to make any changes, like if I'm going to delete this leave, all right, this will instantly be removed right from within ServiceDesk Plus. So if I go right into my October, and if I choose Santa from here, so as you could see, the first week of October's leave has been removed. So this is exactly how the sync happens, vice versa, between ServiceDesk Plus and Outlook in calendars. Now, with this, we have discussed three integrations, and we are heading on to the fourth one, which is Outlook add-in for ServiceDesk Plus. So this is kind of an interesting feature too. So basically, what happens is when we are like well aware of what we are doing and we are like the popular person at the office, we get all these emails coming from people asking for assistance. So rather than going to the support or rather than like reaching out through the proper flow, it just or a hierarchy, it just comes right to your mailbox. And when you forward the emails, it's going to be you as the requester, the person who's forwarding, and it just makes the process a little more complicated. It causes a lot of confusion, all right? Just to ease this process out, we have brought in and added a plugin for Outlook. So this is something we have introduced as a by extending Microsoft's feature, and we have brought in this add-in for Outlook. Now this add-in can be added right into your Outlook mail, and once you've done that for each and every mail, all right, you have an option to create that email into a ticket by choosing who the requester is from the list of templates, fill out the fields, and create the ticket. For the created ticket, you could like reply, edit, add notes, perform a lot of operations. So that's something you can do. All right, so with no further delay, let's get right into the session and let's look it through the product. I'm just gonna go right into my mailbox. So there are like a lot of these emails that's coming back and forth from the user. All right, when you add the plugin to your Outlook, it happens is that when you click on these dots, you get the Service Desk Plus add-in. So I'm just gonna refresh these logins. So it's just like I'm using multiple accounts. So once you've integrated the plugin, you get Service Desk Plus for email. So which basically for your email, you have integrated Service Desk Plus plugin. So it's right on your Outlook, and this is not something you do in Service Desk Plus. When I click on this, what it does is that it's loading the Service Desk Plus plugin, trying to bring in either an option to convert this email into a ticket or go to the list view of tickets. I wanted to convert it to a ticket. So based on my decision, I can like start using the templates between incident and service templates, start creating it. I can reset the template. And again, as you can see here, the requester information is fetched in, all right? And you could also change the templates. Then you have other fields the mandatory fields or the default fields that's there on the template. You have subject and description that is populated right from the mail conversation, and you can add request. Now, this is something you can add it as a request. If you don't want it to add it as a request, you could just absolutely go to the list view. And when you choose list view, this is how the list view looks like. So it gives you an option between the incident request and a service request. You could like choose from filters. You can add the ticket again from here. And also you could like go into a specific ticket and you could like reply or add notes. All right, so you can perform a lot of these operations right from within your Outlook. So basically, if you're the procurement department or you're from purchasing and you just work with like a lot of emails, and out of nowhere someone asks a query directly to you rather than like going to the help desk solution, you can just convert that email into a ticket right from within your Outlook, and you can save your time. So this is exactly how these integrations work. So this is exactly how ServiceDesk Plus plugin helps the Outlook mail feature to be a lot more interactive and collaborative, so that users don't need to move between applications or switch between applications, but they can work through the email. So we have seen a couple of these features. All right, so we have discussed about the Outlook add-in as well. So the next is about SAML single sign-on. Now, why are we talking about all these features is that one thing is, since we're working with Azure and like Teams, Outlook, so there is a space that these integrations also rely or utilize a couple of other enhancements, and which in case like is extended to other services. Just like that is what we have for SAML. So for SAML, we have the prerequisites as Azure authentication requires ServiceDesk Plus to be configured on HTTPS mode. For G Suite authentication, it requires the application to be accessed from a hosted public domain. And roles required would be to set up SAML single sign-on, you would need ServiceDesk Plus admin, SD admin role, true. Then you get to have Azure Global Administrator or Azure Applications Administrator. You need these roles. What are the operations that support it? Now, you could configure SAML single sign-on using Azure, G Suite, OneLogin, ADFS, Okta, and other IDPs. Now, these are certain IDPs that we have tried out. And if you have other IDPs that you need our assistance with, you could let us know and we'll be happy to help you out with that. And again, you could like literally customize how the login page is supposed to be. As you could see over here, we have collapsed the entire login. All right. And also, if you wanted to rearrange these options, you can do that. Then also, we perform we provide other name ID formats that you could choose from as well. So that's something you can choose. So we are going to discuss a lot of these features as a demo right from within ServiceDesk Plus. First things first is that since I've logged in through SAML, all right, I get to log out from SAML, and I also, or I can just log out from ServiceDesk Plus. So this is one thing, and I think I logged out accidentally. So I'm just gonna log back again. So that's something how the login works. So when you have minimized the entire login page, it just gives the users to expand and use it. So this way, if you have configured SAML authentication, that gives a lot of importance to the login. Now, the other thing is that how do you configure this particular option to collapse the entire login options? So if you go to admin SAML authentication, you could just say collapse the login by default. All right, so all the logins will be shortened out. So people have to expand. Then the name ID formats. So we support these name ID formats. So make sure you are in the latest version because we have made some changes towards the name ID formats too. So here's something that you need to know. The other thing is that about the login page customization. So I go to admin and I go to self-service portal settings. All right. So in self-service portal settings, I have something called as login page customization. And over here, I will choose login page customization. So I go to customization and I choose login page customization and I click on customize now. When I do that, as you could see here, whatever I'm going to do is going to reflect on my application. So I go to the extreme bottom of the particular HTML code. This is login form, which is this one. And the other one is the SAML div, which is the SAML configuration. So all I'm doing is that I'm just removing SAML from this point, and as you can see on the right hand side, SAML is gone. And I'm just adding it above the login, and I'm removing the login out of the segment, clearing out the space. Again, I'm someone who have not worked with HTML, but these are certain things I know as a part of the enhancement. So what I basically did is I just swapped the codes, which is like just those two lines, one above and the other below that, and it's configured in a different way. Now with the login collapse, SAML will be first, and the AD or the local authentication would be at the bottom. And this way, basically, users would first grab onto SAML if they are using it, and this is again a way to force users to use SAML. All right. So these are a couple of benefits and features that you would need to make use of in order to use the SAML authentication. Make sure if your configurations are correct and good, go ahead and save and publish it. If not, just cancel it out or go back so that you are not making any changes and you're out of this window. All right, so we have seen or discussed in detail about the SAML authentication. So the final one is O authentication. Again, since we're working with Azure and that feature extends to other capabilities, this entire webinar is just basically focused on how those extended capabilities turn out to be an effective integration through different applications and how we could make them all work together. So that's the entire focus. So OAuth authentication is nothing but under admin mail server settings. So long we were been supporting POP and IMAP as the protocols. All right, so under admin mail server settings, so we were so long being using POP and IMAP, which is kind of a legacy protocol that Microsoft was using. So since it's moving to Exchange Web Service, we've also made the integration with Exchange Web Service for your mail processing feature. So if you've configured EWS, you could choose OAuth for processing your emails, and you can perform the configuration. So this is exactly how this configuration works. All right. So this is just the one last piece of information that we wanted to share. And with this, we have reached to the end of our today's masterclass session. So if you guys have any questions or any product related queries, you can just go ahead and email me to santoshmahiban.v@sohocorp.com or santoshmahiban.v@manageengine.com. All right, we would send a copy of the recording to every attendees, the FAQs, and the presentation to everyone. Thank you so much for your time and patience. Thanks for being an attentive audience. And take care, stay safe, and we'll meet you soon with another masterclass session. Thank you.